Okay, continuing on with the project. So after you've got your variables, so the first section or the next section would be you've described your variables, you know what the numbers mean and everything. The next section is to actually just describe them. And so you're going to describe each of them independently. So all three variables. You're going to calculate and make references, kind of like in the Unit 6 Mastery. Calculate mean, median, modal interval, IQR, Q1, Q3, range, standard deviation. Create your histograms, box plots, describe like the distribution, and you do this really for each of the variables. And then, and as the just like the mastery question, you would describe the meaning of each of the measures as well. So like your definitions of each, and you don't have to include the definitions for all three, but really like you're just describing what these measures mean. It's a little different than a comparison, so you can't say things like, "Oh, this is consistent," because you're not comparing it to some like a standard deviation to another standard deviation, but you're just describing what that measure means. And then in the two variable part, you're going to be doing the two scatter plots, and you're going to create the line of best fit, just like we did in the lessons, and then describe the strength using the R value and the slopes and the y-intercepts. This is probably the newest part of the assignment. So remember we did residual plots. We never had them on the assessments. And so what you have to do here is when you look at a scatter plot, like we asked the question, like what's the point that's kind of the furthest away? And so to answer that question, you have to show a residual plot. So that's a new type of graph. That graph we did in the lessons, so you can go back and how we did residual plots. And then you're going to take the point and you're going to describe that point by like describing its mean. Imagine it's normally distributed and it's going to have an x and a y coordinate. So you're going to do this twice for each point on the two graphs. And you're going to say, well, if 3, 5 is my outlier, then 3 is its mean is this, standard deviation is this, so its percentile and z-score, or its z-score and percentile would be this. The y value, the z-score and percentile would be this, and then what you're going to do is remove that point, refit the new graph, so the new scatter plot, and then describe like are there big changes? So did the correlation get better? Did the slope change? You kind of describe the impact of the point by kind of saying, if you removed it, then this is like what would happen now. You also have to have a section where you talk about the type of for each of the models, like is it common cause or cause and effect, and then if it's common cause, like you're brainstorming common cause factors. Then you make your conclusions overall, and so these can be like after you remove points, or they can be with the points still in there, and you're just gonna like make an overall conclusion saying like which model do you think is better, and overall like do you think like one of these independent variables or both have an impact on the dependent variable.